Hey everyone, I'm Michael, and welcome to another video. I had a really crappy day today, so all you guys are getting this video is a default Windows desktop and OBS. Alright, I'm mad enough not even to record gameplay for this. This was a crap day. So, things started, well, as you may know, one of the big things that happened today, you can probably tell by the look of my taskbar being different than what it was in my previous video, is Windows 11 hit itself on me. Now, I've been previewing Windows 11 through the Insider program pretty much since it came out, back in July or whatever it was. All I know is I've been previewing it in a virtual machine, a KVM virtual machine under Linux, and for the most part it ran really well. Then it had a bug where the graphics card kept on ejecting itself as if it was being unplugged like a USB device, and the screen would go black, and the Linux kernel would look at that and go, "What the fuck just happened? I'm shutting down!" And my computer would crash in the middle of work. Mostly whenever I run Chrome or Restitched or anything like that that's actually important and uses the graphics card. So that's not good. So my next troubleshooting step was to remove KVM out of the equation, because maybe there was something wrong with the KVM virtualization that was causing it, or something wrong with the driver, I don't know, but all I know is I removed KVM from the equation altogether and booted into Windows 11 on bare hardware. And it worked. But it was still having the issue. So then I decided to see if there were any Windows updates available. Maybe there was a new Insider preview or something like that. But I looked and it was saying that I was no longer eligible for the Windows Insider program. This is because my KVM system emulated the TPM 2.0 chip. And my motherboard doesn't have a TPM chip on it. But it does have something called FTPM, which a lot of the AMD processors have nowadays. So I enable that in the BIOS and we're good to go, and I update, and the issue is still there. So then I rewire my desk a few days ago or something like that, I can't remember honestly, but pretty much early on in October, I rewire my desk and I unplug a lot of unused USB devices, and the issue is gone. I'm no longer having a crashing graphics driver. Awesome. So this means that instead of it being an issue with Windows, it's an issue with my system, and I was drawing too much power with the sheer amount of USB devices I had plugged in. Fair enough. Okay, carry on. So I keep using Windows 11, and then it comes out. It RTM'd on October 5th. So this morning, I wake up. There's a big dialog box on my screen. See, I have my desktop showing Richie from Pokemon, which you don't get to see right now because copyright. But either way, I wake up, turn on my computer, and I see Richie from Pokemon. And in the middle of the screen, covering Richie's face, is a dialog box saying, "Hey, there's a new version of Windows available. You want to update?" And it gives me three options. Update now, update in a few hours, or pick a time, but we're going to do it anyway. So I say, well, screw it. I'm not doing any important work, so I'll do the update. Okay. So I do the update, it runs through its little service pack or whatever, because it's a new build, and it does the update, and I reboot, and it says we're undoing the changes we made to your system because we screwed up the update. I say, okay, whatever, fine, I'll go make a cup of coffee, and by the time I get back, I'll be at my desktop, whatever. Sit down with my cup of coffee, start using my desktop, and everything seems fine. Discord loads, Spotify loads, I'm able to get into Socially Distant and Unity, and everything is working, except I start noticing issues that were not there before. Taskbar, for example, whenever I hover over an icon in the taskbar inside Windows, you get a preview of the application. Sometimes you don't, but most of the time you do. It's been like this since Windows 7. The only time it doesn't show an actual preview is when the application hasn't been open for a while and the system has memory managed it and put it to sleep. So that's fine. This is normal. But in Windows 11, what was happening is I'd hover over it and nothing would happen. There wouldn't be a thumbnail, there wouldn't be a tooltip, there wouldn't even be a highlight over the icon saying, "Hey, you're hovering over it." Nothing. And I would click the icon, and well, if you've used Windows for the last 17,000 years, when the taskbar was introduced in Windows 95, you click on the button and it opens the program. Okay? Spotify is open. And you click on it again and it minimizes it. Spotify is now minimized. That wasn't happening, which usually is an indication that the Explorer process has gone dormant. So what do you do in that case? Well, usually it's supposed to automatically restart it. So basically it does the equivalent of going into the command prompt and doing this command, taskkill/f/im explorer.exe, and you lose your desktop background and your taskbar for a few seconds, but then it runs explorer.exe, and everything's back to normal. Except it wasn't doing that. It was just hanging. And so I would go to open Task Manager, and first of all, opening Task Manager in Windows 11 is like the worst thing you can do ever. First of all, okay, never mind, ignore that. That was just me forgetting that Explorer is responsible for determining the active window. But in Windows 10, you right-click on your taskbar, and bam, there's Task Manager. It's right there. It's right there. Alright, there it is. There's your Task Manager. Windows 11, it's not there. So instead, you have to do Control-Shift-Escape, which is a system-level hotkey that opens the Task Manager regardless of whether Explorer is running or dormant or whatnot, because this hotkey is handled by winlogon.exe, which for sure is going to be running on your system unless you've blue-screened or you're still booting up. So there's that. So I get into Task Manager, and well, by the time I get back into Task Manager, Explorer decides it wants to restart. So I think, okay, well that's fine, okay, it's back up and running, and then the issue happens again. Explorer stops working. And I keep going into Task Manager, and then it fixes itself, and then it breaks itself, and then it fixes itself. So I decide, okay, well, obviously the Windows Update did something to my system and hosed it. Fine, I'll do a reinstall. There are plenty of Windows 10 flash drives around the house. I'll just grab one and I'll put it in, and I'll go back to a retail build of Windows that is actually stable, asterisk, and everything will be fine. So what? I have to reinstall all of my programs. I can do that in a day. We have gigabit internet. It's gonna be fine. So I do that, and I install Windows 10 Pro 21H1, which is what I'm running right now. And it activates, and I create my local account. And I disable all the privacy shit because I don't want Windows spying on me, especially since I work on code on this system that is under an NDA, and I don't want Microsoft getting access to that code. Anyway, so I start installing drivers, because generally Windows is pretty good at picking bad, outdated drivers to use for your system through Windows Update. It's notoriously bad with graphics drivers, but just because I was having performance issues with my system, I wanted to make sure that I got the correct drivers for my system. So I go to Asus's website. My motherboard is an Asus TUF X570 Plus Wi-Fi. So I go and grab all the chipset and the audio and the LAN and the wireless and all that stuff, and I install those drivers, and I reboot the system, and I boot loop. Windows will show its loading screen for about a minute, and then my system will restart. I'll see the loading screen for a minute, and my system restarts. And I see the loading screen, and then I see diagnosing your PC, and then I see Windows could not start up. Please recover your system. So I go to recover my system. I plug in the USB drive. I do the refresh my PC because I want to keep my files, and it refreshes the system, and then I see the loading screen for a minute, and it reboots. And I see the loading screen for a minute, and then it reboots. And then it says, "We're undoing the changes we just made to your system." And it does that, and it reboots. Then I see the loading screen for a minute, and it reboots. Then I see the loading screen again for a minute, and it reboots. And then we're back to that same screen, diagnosing your PC. We couldn't start your PC. Please reset your PC. So I say, alright, fine, cut my losses. I only installed a few basic programs. Maybe it's that driver I installed. For the record, it was a driver that I installed. I installed a RAID driver on my system, and I have no business installing that driver. It doesn't need to be on this system at all, and that was the driver that screwed up. It could not load the driver for the boot drive, and it totally smashed the system up. So I reinstall Windows, and we're good. Set up my development environment, and then I have Rider set up, and I have Unity set up, and everything's good. Everything's golden. So here's the problem. This is at this point in the story, my day is frustrating. Whatever, it's frustrating, it sucks, but oh well, what do you do? Then I start to do some programming. And I decide, okay, well, this is a new system. I want to make sure that I pull all of my changes from Socially Distant. Git pull. And then I remember one thing. Well, this is a new system. It's not signed into GitHub, and Socially Distant is a private GitHub repository. So you need to be granted access to it through your GitHub account. And I go sign into your GitHub account. It opens my browser, and it prompts me for my username and my password. And then it prompts me for my two-factor authentication code. So I go pull out my phone and go to my authenticator, and I'm doing this because I'm not even, you're not even gonna get an authentication code out of me. It's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, open authenticator.
Opening authenticator.
Which is a very easy way to open an application you need to access very quickly when you're blind and you can barely read your phone screen. And I invert the colors, and oh look, there's only one application in my authenticator, and it's Discord, and Discord is not GitHub. And then I read the bottom. It says that it's going to, well,
we just sent you a message via SMS with your authentication code. Enter the code in the form above to verify your identity. Resend the code.
Yeah, you heard the screen reader. It sent it through SMS, which would be totally fine if not for something else that happened a few weeks ago. Our internet went out, and so I needed to run over mobile data. And I needed to, because I'm a developer at Trixel Creative, I'm a developer of Socially Distant, and I have online learning, and I cannot afford to miss classes and stop working on Restitched, and stop working on my games, and stop working on anything relying on the internet just because our cable provider sucked. So, in the meantime, while we were looking into it, I ran over mobile data. And I almost ran over my limit with my old carrier. So I switched carriers, and then switched phone numbers. And in the heat of the moment, I forgot that my GitHub has two-factor authentication, SMS-based authentication, with that old phone number that I no longer had access to. So then I think, okay, well fine, we'll go ahead and recover the account. At this point I'm panicking, and the day has gone from whatever frustrating to bad. So I click this link here, and it says, okay, well this is the 3-step process. You're going to verify an email that you have associated with this account. Then you're going to verify a device that you have used to sign into this account. Maybe an SSH key or whatnot. And then you can verify a personal access token, whatnot. And then GitHub support will review this verification and try to give you a solution to the problem. They'll look into it, see if they can verify that it's you, and okay, that's great. Okay, so let's do this. Well, we type in the email, and oh look, it doesn't even give you the chance because, well, it's already sent it to aklnthndr@gmail.com. So I go, okay, well, sign into Google, and this part I'm not going to show. I sign into Google, and it asks me for my password, and my password manager does not autofill it. I look in my password manager, and it is flat out not saved in my password manager. So, that Google account, I don't have access to anymore. So I go say, forgot my password. And Google says, okay, you forgot your password. Let's just make sure that you are you. And we're gonna go ahead and ask you for the last password you remember on this account. Now here's the thing. aklnthndr@gmail.com is brand new. Like, it didn't even exist 2 months ago, brand new. And it has only ever had one password. The password that I don't remember, because it's not saved. So I don't have the ability to remember, or to enter a last password that I know, because I don't know any. There was only ever one. And if I knew that password, I wouldn't need to recover the account. So then I say, okay, well, I'll put nothing in, and it doesn't let you. So I'll put something in, something random. Maybe their system is smart enough to realize, okay, well, there's only one password on file. No, it's not. No, no, nope. Hit submit, and it says, oops, we can't verify you're you. You're not getting in, buddy. So that Google account is now dead. So I start to panic. And I start to panic on Trixel Creative's Discord, and the Restitched Discord, and say, hey, look, I'm getting locked out of my shit. What do we do? Yeah, so GitHub is gone. There's no getting that back. But that's fine. I mean, with Restitched, I can just say, okay, well, you guys know who I am. I'm talking to you through Discord. You can verify that I am who I am. Just revoke access from the old account, and we'll create new ones. That's the plan. But the problem is Steam. Steamworks, and the Steam store, and all that stuff. See, whenever you're developing a Steam game, you get early access to that game, so that you can go ahead and you can publish builds to the server and download them on your Steam library as if you were running a retail build of the game, so that you can test out Steam integration features and stuff like that. That's what it's for. And we all have access to that because, of course, Restitched is a Steam game. Its Steam store is public now. You can't download any of it, but it is public. Now, this is a problem. If I can't access my Steam account because it's... Okay, well, let's backtrack a little bit. I originally thought that I could access my Steam account. It was on the back of my mind, but I knew that if I were to sign in on my new, or on this system, it was going to flag me as a new system and activate SteamGuard. And SteamGuard sends you a 6-digit code to your Steam account's email address, and you have to type that code in and unlock the system. So that's a problem. I can't access the email address that my Steam account's tied to. So then I panic and I think, right, I have a laptop. It's probably signed into Steam. Nope, Steam wasn't even installed on it, and it got Steam guarded too. Yeah, so that's my day. Now, Steam luckily does have a form you can fill out if you do lose access to your SteamGuard email. And what they do is they make you enter in that email address to verify that you know what it is and that you just don't have access to it. And then it makes you verify a bunch of other information, such as a previous email address, which luckily I do have for that account. And that previous email I have access to. And then it makes you fill out other things like payment invoices and things like that, just to verify that you know as much information about the account as you possibly can, which luckily I do. I'm very on top of my Steam account. And so I filled that form out, and we're waiting on that. GitHub, that's a lost cause. That's 8 years of code that is now just... including Socially Distant. Now, Socially Distant is not going to go away because of this. I do have a plan. I'm going to get that fixed. It's going to take me, like, realistically, an hour or so of work to fix, and then it'll be fine. But yeah. Moral of the story. Don't use SMS for two-factor authentication. Always use an authenticator app, because even if you don't lose access to the device you set up your authentication on, I have my phone in my hand. It is the same phone I've had for years now. If you lose access to the phone number, you're screwed. So don't use SMS. Use an authenticator app. Secondly, when you're setting up an email account, or any sort of email, whether it be a Microsoft account or anything like that, make sure you set up another one that you always have access to, even if it's like totally insecure, because most email providers are good enough now that they're not just going to let you verify through a recovery email. But if you do have that recovery email, it is an extra way they can verify you. So if you do lose access to a password and it's the only password on the account, you can still have a hope at getting in. So do that. But also do try to keep them both secure. Don't use tubs123 as the password for the recovery one, because someone like me will very easily be able to get into it. But anyway, yeah, so third moral of the story is always have a backup computer ready that's signed into all your stuff, so that you can go into your laptop that's already signed into Steam, for example, and trusted by Steam. And if you, God forbid, lose access to your SteamGuard email, you can go in and change it. Or, God forbid, you lose access to your email account, you can go in and change it. And if you don't have a secondary computer, everyone has a phone, so use your phone. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. This has been a very stressful day, and it's nowhere near over. As always, I've been Michael. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know this isn't a usual video that I'd make, but I really needed to. Anyway, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. By the way, if anyone knows how to get in touch with GitHub to verify who I am without having access to the email or the phone number, please let me know. Really don't want to lose that code. Really don't want to.